welcome back to my channel. I'm James, and this channel's for everyone worldwide that loves all these great movies and TV series. Today we're going to deep dive into Almost Famous on 4K Ultra HD. Now, this one actually is going to be coming out here in about a week on the standard edition. I actually opted for the SteelBook edition, and there's two different versions of this that are available, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit later in the review, but I actually opted for the more expensive SteelBook edition. But the actual regular cased edition, which comes in the regular case that you're going to see above, is the same content and the same discs on both these releases. The only difference is the outside cases. Now, we're going to be going into this and doing my exclusive 4K versus the original Blu Ray image comparisons, and that's something I exclusively do here on this channel. I go in and get the data that's unfiltered off of the discs for the 4Ks and the data off of the Blu Rays to show you the image differences between the two of them. So if you're not subscribed yet to this YouTube channel, you need to go down there and hit that subscribe button, so that way you never miss out on any of this exclusive content. Now, I'm also going to go through and give you my movie review, what my thoughts are on the movie, and then at the end of every review, I always wrap it up with my special review score. That's where I give you a sum up, a tally of basically what the image quality, the special features, the content, the movie, if this is something worth spending your money on and upgrading to. So make sure to stick around to the end so you get my total review score as well. Now, this set here is the 4K Ultra HD release, which came out a few months before this, but it went out of print right away and it basically was a limited edition release. Well, Paramount Studios has come back and is releasing the standard edition of this, which includes all of the content in the original discs that are in this set in the new case. That's the only difference. It just has slightly different artwork on the outside. Otherwise, the content, the discs, everything else is identical. So we're going to be comparing this to the original Blu Ray release that you're going to see above here. Now, the Blu Ray screenshots that you're going to see up there are the unfiltered images, which means they are not upscaled by a Blu Ray player or TV. As I've explained hundreds of times over the years on this channel, what you see there is always the standard content that's on the discs. Now, you're going to see a comparison screenshot of the 4K here, and I'm going to talk to you about the differences between this here for just a minute. Now, on this, it does have HDR10 and Dolby Vision. And I will say the Dolby Vision implementation on this is where it really shines. The HDR10 does look good, but the Dolby Vision is where it really does shine very well. Now, in those screenshots above, I've explained this a lot, those screenshots that you see for the 4K image of this are only in standard HDR here on YouTube. No matter what I upload as, YouTube's algorithm always dumbs them down to regular HDR. So the max you can see those screenshots is regular HDR. If you're playing it in HDR10 or Dolby Vision, it's only going to look better than what you see above of these 4Ks in your own home, on your own TV, through your Blu Ray player. It will always look better than what you see there. These are just a representation because HDR, standard HDR, is the highest representation that YouTube allows with their algorithm. Now, as you probably noticed right away, this 4K Ultra HD representation looks drastically better than the Blu Ray did before. The Blu Ray seemed very kind of almost desaturated, slightly of a almost grayish film over it. It wasn't a gorgeous picture. It wasn't an amazing stunner on Blu-ray. Now, I'm not going to say it looked horrendous, that I wouldn't want to watch it. I mean, I've owned it and I've watched it numerous times, and it was decent. But I didn't really realize what I was missing until I put in this new 4K Ultra HD. So like I was explaining, both of the editions that are out have the same discs in them. Now, in this, it does have a SteelBook case, but when you get inside here, it's the same black discs. One's the theatrical with feature film and the special features on it. The other one's your bootleg with your special features. And I did like that they're both on 4K discs. What you've probably noticed between them is, though, between that 4K screenshot and the Blu-ray, with that HDR implementation, the colors are much more vibrant and lifelike. It takes away that kind of grayish, dull tone to their skins and gives them a little bit of life without oversaturating it. So the HDR implementation with that Dolby Vision and the HDR10 really brought new life to this film and really brought out Cameron Crowe's just overall look that he wanted the film to be, because they did a brand new color grading with this brand new 4K Ultra HD release, and he actually got to go back and make it look the way it was originally intended when it was released in theaters, where the Blu-ray had kind of desaturated and changed the colors to more of a hazy gray filter. So as we're going along, you're going to see those screenshot comparisons above, so that way you can see this for yourself. But overall, this does look drastically better than that Blu-ray. Now, I do want to touch on one thing real quick about this release, though. As always, I exclusively test every single one of these 4K and Blu-ray releases that I review. So I test them on 6 different players. So while doing my exclusive testing, I did find some interesting results. I watched it first on my Panasonic UB820, my region-free one. And when I played it through that, it played perfectly fine, looked gorgeous, I had no issues with it whatsoever. Then I went and played it on my other Panasonic UB820, which is not a region-free Panasonic UB820. That's just a regular one that I bought through Amazon when it was on sale. As most of you know that have watched the channel, I posted about that here recently when they had a big sale on that again. Well, I bought a second one of those players because I love that player so much. Well, I played it through my second Panasonic UB820, and I actually had some interesting results. There were some scenes throughout it, very short, they were about a second here and there, where it would get very pixelated. So as always, when I find there's something on a disc, I test it on every single player to find out, is this just a player issue, what's going on? Well, it's kind of interesting what I found out. Basically, after testing it through my LG UBK90 and my LG UBK80, my Xbox Series X, and my PS5, all of those, there was no issues on it. It was only on one of my Panasonic players. So what I found out was I went and checked the firmware. That's the first thing I do when I find out there's maybe an issue. And to my surprise, the new had not been updated to the latest firmware. What I found out is my region-free one had already updated. So once I downloaded that update on the Panasonic UB820, it no longer had that pixelation issue that was just random for a few seconds throughout it. It played perfectly fine and seamlessly. So for a hidden tidbit here, if you do play it through the Panasonic UB820, you want to make sure your player's updated to the latest 1.69 firmware update for the Panasonic UB820. Because it was interesting, because what I found out was that it was only because mine had not been updated to the latest firmware that I had those pixelation. Once it was updated, it played seamlessly. I had no issues with anything, no audio lag, nothing at all like that. But as always, I'll always be upfront and honest with all of you and let you know if there's little things that I find along the way. Now, if you decide after watching my review you want to pick this release up and add it to your collection, down below in the description section right below this video, I'll have the Amazon link down there for this and for the regular edition. This one's quite a bit more expensive for the SteelBook. The regular edition, as I said, with the same disc is a lot less expensive. So that's probably the one most of you are going to want to pick up. But I'll pin both of them down in the description section below with those links to Amazon. Takes you straight out there, makes it nice and easy for you. And I'll put them down as pinned comments in the comment section below. So if you're going to pick this up, make sure to go down to one of those links. That does help support this channel just a little bit. Helps me to be able to keep providing you all this exclusive content and putting all this work and time into these videos. Now, I've always liked Almost Famous. There's actually a bunch of films by Cameron Crowe that I've always really enjoyed. Elizabethtown, I mean, Jerry Maguire is good, Vanilla Sky. There's different varying qualities between his videos, but they all really make you think. Almost Famous is basically the story of a 15-year-old boy that writes an article that gets noticed by the Rolling Stones, basically magazine, and they hire him to basically go and follow a band, basically in 1975 to follow a band, and basically he's young, and it's kind of one of these beautifully bittersweet and kind of eye-opening movies about coming of age. I mean, it's him learning that his ideas and idolizing these bands and these band members and their music and making these guys out to be a big deal, that they're so great and wonderful, and he realizes the reality of what life is like. And then there's just, like I said, some bittersweet things in it that really is just a downright beautiful story. Though I will tell you, it is rated R for language and some brief sexual content. So as always, I always tell all of you what's in these movies. It's not really a family movie, it's definitely an adult film. There might be a scene or two you'll want to skip, that's up to each one of you, but it does have that in it, so do be aware of that. It is an adult story. But overall, I really enjoy basically Cameron Crowe's music, and his soundtracks are just absolutely wonderful. I think he does a great job with them. He does such a beautiful job of tying in the music to the scenes and basically showing you like eye-opening scenes of learning basically here's what life's like, and it's not how you thought it was, and these people aren't as great as you thought they were, and just really well done. And it's such an enjoyable film that if you haven't checked it out yet, it is a very well done film and an enjoyable watch. My wife and I both enjoy it and have seen it numerous times. So when we got this on 4K, we were curious if it was going to look a lot better in the Blu Ray. Well, I'm happy to say it was a worthy upgrade in that sense. The film itself looks the best it ever has on this 4K Ultra HD, and compared to the Blu Ray, we won't ever watch those Blu Rays again because the Dolby Vision and HDR10 presentation on this really does look good. And for a film that was released in 2000, this was right before they started switching to digital. So this does retain the natural film grain, and it is smooth and there's no fluctuations that I noticed, and it looked really, really well done throughout the entire thing. They did not DNR out the film grain in it, so I'm happy to announce the film grain looked really, really good in it, and it didn't have any of those waves or fluctuations throughout it. No vibrating, nothing like that. And the presentation on this really did look really good. Now on this, because it was filmed on film, it transferred to a native 4K 2160p. When they went back and scanned this for this new scan to release this on 4K Ultra HD, it did come out at a native 4K 2160p. It's not something that was upscaled because it was filmed on film. Now, I've talked about this a bunch over the years here. If you want to help to support my channel so I can keep producing and creating these exclusive videos for you to watch, these 4K versus Blu-ray, Blu-ray versus DVD, all of this exclusive content where I take the data off of the disc and I do these comparisons like what you've been seeing above, you'll want to go down and click the Super Thanks button. My channel is completely supported by the support from all the viewers and subscribers like you. So when you click that Super Thanks button, that goes right back into the channel and helps me to be able to afford to keep providing you all of these 4K versus Blu-ray. So if you enjoy and you love my YouTube channel, please make sure to give a super thanks on these videos. That's how I can afford to keep providing you all of this content. And as I said, the links for both of these 4Ks will be listed in the description section and as a pinned comment. So if you're gonna pick this up as well, make sure to click through one of those links. That helps out just a little bit to the YouTube channel as well. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and a like, and hit that subscribe button. All right, let's dive right back into this. So this does have an English DTS HD Master Audio for its audio option. It also has French Dolby Digital 5.1, and it sounds really good. There wasn't any fluctuations in the audio. It didn't have any issues with that at all. A nice audio mix on this. It does have subtitles in English and in French, and it does have a digital copy in this set and in the one that comes in the regular case. They're both the same as far as that goes. Now, the 4K discs in both sets are BD66, so both 4K discs are BD66, and I'm happy to announce they are both region-free. So if you are wanting to import this into your country, through that link down below that I talked about, you'll be able to import this anywhere worldwide, and they are region-free, so they'll play no issues whatsoever. Now, they did retain the original aspect ratio, which is 1.85 to 1. They didn't mess with that at all, both in the bootleg and in the theatrical cut. And that's where there's some differences. The reason why there's two discs in both of these sets is because one of the discs is the bootleg cut, which is 161 minutes. Then you have the theatrical cut, which is 123 minutes. There's a drastic difference between both films. Now, my favorite's the bootleg cut. I really enjoy the bootleg cut, though the theatrical cut does have a much better pacing to it. But in my opinion, Cameron Crowe's movies are more or less a sit back, enjoy the night, have a drink, just have some fun watching a good movie. And you really get into the characters and the music, and it's kind of like going to a concert with a good story. And I just overall feel like Cameron Crowe's films, the longer ones, are just such better cuts of it. And in this case, the bootleg cut is my preferred cut of the film, but each one of you might have a different one that you like the best. And that's perfectly fine. We each have things we like for different reasons. And overall, the film does such a good job of really tying us into and making the viewer feel like we're riding along with that 15-year-old as he discovers and comes of age, realizing his idols and the things he thought about people. They're just human. I mean, we're all human. We make mistakes, we're broken people, we're fractured, and none of us are perfect. No one in the world is. No matter whether you think it's a celebrity, a rock star from the 1975s, it doesn't matter who it is. We all build up in our minds certain ideals of what we think people are because we've seen them on a show or we've seen them in a rock band. And that's where this takes that into account and basically plays off of the fact of how poignantly beautiful it is that we realize and grow up and realize that people are just, we're all kind of broken. And it does a really good job with that, and I really think it's a beautiful film in that sense. So they ported over all of the original Blu-ray special features to both sets that are available. Both 4K sets, as I said, have the exact same discs, exact same content. All the special features are included. You didn't miss out on any of them. So no matter whether you had either of the original Blu-ray releases, all of the special features are contained on this set. You don't lose anything in either of these 4K releases. So it's up to you which one you want to spend the money for, though I will say the SteelBook, because it's out of print now, is extremely overpriced right now. So I'd personally probably say if I hadn't gotten this before it went out of print, you're probably going to want to get the one that's available now in the standard case. So my review score and sum up review score for this release. I really enjoy the film and I think it's so well done. So my review score is a great 9.3. The only reason it got dinged some fractions of a point is because of, like I explained about the Blu-ray player issue. It was only on my Panasonic UB820 that hadn't been updated, that basically up to the latest 1.69 update. Once I didn't have any issues with it, and all my other Blu-ray players were updated. So that is something, if you do notice a little bit where there's a couple of scenes where it's a fraction of a second where it gets pixelated, you'll just need to make sure you update your firmware. That was the only thing on it, and after researching after that, I also found out that that seems to be the only player that was affected by it, and that's why I ran into that issue. But once it was updated, there was nothing. So that's why it did get dinged a couple of fractions of a point. Otherwise, I thought it was a really well done release and is definitely a must buy and something you're going to want to add to your collection. If you haven't seen the film, you'll really enjoy the film. If you have seen the film and you own it on Blu-ray, you'll put this in and you won't want to watch that Blu-ray because of how good the HDR10 and the Dolby Vision looks. Though I will say the Dolby Vision was the big stunner in this. The Dolby Vision really was well done by Paramount Studios on this release. And now that they're re-releasing it in the standard case, I thought this was the perfect time to dive into this and do one of these special reviews for all of you. And as you saw with those screenshots, there is no reason whatsoever to watch that Blu-ray again. It really does look outstanding on this Dolby Vision presentation. Let me know in the comment section below if you've seen this film. I'm curious what you guys thought about it, if you like Cameron Crowe's films. A lot of people, they either love them or they don't like them as much, but I really am a big fan of his work and really enjoy his films. Make sure to start that conversation as always in the comment section below. I always love to hear from all of you. Make sure to give this video a like and a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this video, and as always, if you enjoy my content, make sure to give a super thanks down below. It's just like a tip. Even if you can only give a little bit, that's fine, but that does go right back into these videos. That's how I keep providing you all of this content. It's from the support of all of my viewers just like you and all of my subscribers. So anytime you watch any of these videos, make sure to go down and click that super thanks button. Even if it's only $1, that goes right back into the channel and it does help out. Make sure to go down there and hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. I appreciate all your love and support. As always, I've always appreciated all of your love and support over the years. Hit that bell notification. That way you get notified every single time I release one of these videos. I had a fun time today. As always, I hope all of you have a blessed day, and I've always got some new and exciting content coming out very soon.